is based off of the wheel loader. The 844 is based off of the 990. The 854 is based off of the 992. The 854 is available with a ripper today to do some of that support work on your haul roads. And then we have the 834, which is based off of the 988. So from that center point back, it is the same machine as a wheel loader except for the torque converter. All the components on the front of that machine are Caterpillar components. A lot of people still remember these as being a Tiger 690. It is a true Cat machine today. There's actually 5 models. There's 2 smaller, but in mining applications, the other 2, the 14 and the 24, get to be a bit small. I want to talk just a little bit about buckets and blades. Whether we're talking about buckets on our shovels, the blades on the wheel dozer, the buckets on the loaders, the blades on the track type tractor. One of the things that we always hear when we go to start equipping a machine is when we get to the bucket size, what do you want for a bucket? And everybody wants the biggest bucket you can get. And that's usually the wrong way to do it. Is what happens is you only have so much hydraulic horsepower. So the tougher the material is and the wider the bucket is, the harder it's going to be to load. You'll be heating components, you'll be spinning tires or tracks, you're going to be burning fuel unnecessarily. So we're there to help you understand what is the ideal bucket when I start looking at equipping this machine. 994H, that's an extended high lift. Now the 994 is the only one that has a different front structure. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute when we put this up over the top of the 793. You can see how we've advanced this face. He's got himself spotted to load that 789. Ideal match right here. That 994 will still productively load the 793, and we can go into areas when we take down our shovels for scheduled maintenance to still productively load. We are up into that 6, 7, 8 pass match, which isn't ideal, but we still keep our trucks running. The 994H has about a 5 to 10% fuel saving advantage over the previous model. That machine has the fender extensions. It has the large tires on it, give us a real good base to work from. That machine is extremely stable today. That's the big bucket, 244-inch bucket, 23.5 yard. And again, that wide bucket works very well in here. If this material wasn't this friendly, we would put on a 222-inch bucket. It would be more aggressive because we would have the same amount of horsepower over that shorter edge. It's going to allow us to go in and break out that tougher material. Is what you would do when you put on that narrower bucket is that you'd find that you're just on the inside of our tire width. Chances are we'd probably put chains on it and we'd put little wings on that bucket, which would actually deflect any material away from the tires. Same cab as what you saw on the 993, excellent visibility, touchpad, flattened out that staircase now so the operator, it's easier for the operator to get up and down off of it. You can also get the optional fold down ladder on this. So again, when you go to equip these, think about your operator and what they typically take in the cab. It's a real nice option to give those guys. MineStar can be put on this machine, whether it's health, detect, terrain. Detect is what you're seeing on the front of that 789. If you see the wheel chocks and you see those 2 boxes on top of it with the lasers and the radar in that box, that is actually looking around that truck. And that operator sitting in the cab has a screen in front of him. If anybody got into his blind spot, which those of you that have sat in these trucks, and the larger trucks are worse, there's a lot of blind spots. If they got into the area that he can't see, or any area, he's going to be warned that there's somebody in that area. He's going to get a red light off in the cab. He's going to get an audible alarm. He knows there's somebody in his work area. He'll get out and check that. That can be put on any one of these machines sitting out here. That 994 is ready to have it put on. That one has a rear vision camera only, which is not part of Detect. But remember that that Detect is in that MineStar suite today. When we look at our large mining trucks, we're kind of thinking 785 and up, which was introduced in 1980. That, of course, is the new 789D. Increased capacity on that up to 200 ton from 195 ton. You'll have the opportunity to get around that. That also has the new style cab on it. In 1986, we introduced the 789, 793 in 1991, 1998, the 797, and in 2008, the 795 FAC, which is the only truck that you're not going to see today. 793, that one's rated at 250 ton. I want you to have a look at this 994. That is an EHL, so you have a standard lift, good for the 785, and with a good operator, good for the 789. High lift, good for the 789, and you can load the 793 if you have a good operator. This extended high lift, 23.5 yard bucket, is about 4 foot more reach than the high lift machine, and then you have the super high lift. But look at where we're at in the middle. You can put a load in the middle of that with the 994. So again, don't think that you cannot load with that loader into a 793. We can do that very easily. So we're going to get the 994 out of here. I talked about the super high lift. That machine is designed for coal loading only. So it'll have a 42 yard bucket on it, strictly coal loading. Okay. We talk about our mining trucks. We also have the addition of a couple of more. We have the 4400 and the 5300 with payload capacities of 240 to 320 ton, and you're going to see both of those here today. So back to our productivity class, we talked about the 60-40. Let's talk about the 60-60 front shovel. One of the keys with these is to keep everything nice and tight. One of the big differences between a hydraulic front shovel and a rope shovel is the reach. So a lot of times you'll see guys try and take those hydraulic front shovels and two-side load. But you'll find to do that, an operator has to reach out a lot further. It definitely impacts your cycle time. It slows down the machine. You find it's easier to reduce bucket capacity to do that. If your operators are efficient, they set themselves up right, their truck exchange time is good, you can be more productive doing a real good single side load like this than you would be with a two-side load. 44.5 yard bucket,